Right now, if you want to hit something far away, you barely think about the problem at all. You point a camera, you throw a ball, you pull a trigger in a video game. Distance feels small to you. But for most of human history, distance was the difference between eating and starving, between walking back to camp with meat on your shoulders or coming home empty-handed with a wound in your leg. Long before guns, before metal blades, before cities, one invention changed that problem forever. It let a human being killed from far enough away that the animal could not gore you, trample you, or bite through your arm before you got a second chance. That invention was the bow and arrow. And the strange part is nobody sat down one day and said, "Let's invent archery." It almost certainly began as a series of accidents, tiny observations made by people who were just trying to survive another week. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a clearing about 70,000 years ago. You can see the animal. Maybe it is antelope, maybe deer, maybe something bigger, something that can break your ribs with one kick. You have a spear in your hand. That spear can kill, but only if you get close, and close is where people die. Every prehistoric hunter understood that part. A spear is powerful, but it forces your body into the danger zone. Even throwing spears had limits. They hit hard, but you can only carry a few, and once you throw one, that is one less chance. Miss twice, and now you are a hungry human standing in open ground with nothing left in your hand. That is the real problem the bow solved. Not power at first, not elegance, not even range by itself. What it solved was repeatable distance. It gave hunters a way to send force away from the body over and over again without stepping into the animal's reach. That sounds obvious now. It was not obvious then. To invent a bow, you have to notice something most animals never would. A bent branch stores energy. Pull it back, let it go, and that stored tension snaps forward. Every child who has ever flexed a twig has seen the beginning of the idea. But seeing it and building a weapon from it are completely different things. A good bow is not just a stick with a string. That is what makes this invention so impressive. You need the right wood, flexible enough to bend, strong enough not to shatter. You need cordage that can survive tension without snapping. You need shafts straight enough to fly. You need points light enough to launch but sharp enough to penetrate. You need feathers, glue, bindings, and above all, you need patience. The bow is one of the first truly complex human weapons because it is a system. If one part fails, the whole thing fails. A weak string makes the shot useless. A crooked arrow sends your kill chance into the dirt. Bad bindings mean the point flies off and the animal runs. Archery did not appear because one genius had a clever afternoon. It appeared because generations of people kept improving several technologies at the same time until suddenly the whole system worked. The oldest strong evidence we have for bow and arrow use comes from southern Africa. At Sibudu Cave, archaeologists found tiny stone points dating to about 64,000 years ago. These points are so small and so light that they make much more sense as arrowheads than as spear tips. Some even preserved microscopic traces of blood, bone, and impact damage. The kind of wear you would expect from fast-moving projectiles rather than handheld thrusting weapons. In other words, by 64,000 years ago, someone was almost certainly already doing something very close to archery. And that date matters because it means humans were using this technology tens of thousands of years before farming, before writing, before the first cities, while our species was still scattered in small groups trying to survive in difficult landscapes. Now think about what that means. If bows were already showing up 64,000 years ago, the idea itself is probably older. You do not get a refined technology at its first appearance in the archaeological record. The first surviving evidence is almost never the true beginning. Wood rots, string disappears, feathers vanish. What lasts are stone tips and rare traces. The actual first bow may be lost forever, because it was made from the kind of materials that return to the earth and leave almost nothing behind. Which means the invention that changed hunting may have happened in silence, with no monument, no record, no preserved first example. Just one human group discovering that bent wood and tension could turn a thin shaft into death at a distance. Once you have that, everything changes. Hunting changes first. A spear hunter has to be brave. An archer still has to be brave. But now skill starts to matter more than raw nerve. You can hide. You can ambush. You can shoot from trees, from brush, from a safer position. You can wound an animal, track it, and shoot again. You can carry a bundle of arrows instead of a handful of spears. Suddenly, one person can take several shots in quick succession without charging forward into hooves and horns. That is not just a better weapon. That is a different relationship with risk. And bows did something else that is easy to miss. They made hunting quieter. A spear attack often becomes chaos immediately. Running feet, shouting, close contact. But an arrow can leave the string with almost no warning. In thick woodland or brush, that matters. In small group hunting, that matters. In conflict between humans, it matters even more. A weapon that lets you wound from a distance does not just change how you hunt animals. It changes how groups threaten each other, defend territory, and think about safety. For a long time, the bow stayed almost invisible in the archaeological record outside Africa because the materials were perishable. Then more hints begin appearing elsewhere. Evidence from Grotta Mandrin in France suggests modern humans in Europe may have been using bow and arrow technology around 54,000 years ago. Much later, the first preserved wooden bows start turning up in wetter, colder places where organic material had a better chance of surviving. But by then, the technology was already ancient. The wooden bow we find is never the invention itself. It is just one surviving chapter of a much older story. And here's the part most people never think about. The bow and arrow was not only a weapon, it was proof of a new kind of mind. To make one, you have to think in delayed results. You cut wood today for a hunt tomorrow. You dry sinew. You shape a shaft. You balance a point. You carry extra arrows because you are planning for misses before the miss has even happened. That is advanced foresight. The bow is engineering before engineering had a name. Stored energy, material science, aerodynamics, modular design, all being worked out by humans who had never seen metal machines, never written down a formula, never drawn a blueprint. They learned it with hands, memory, failure, and repetition. So how did humans first invent the bow and arrow? Probably the same way we invented most of the things that changed us. Not all at once, not cleanly, not with one great flash of genius. It began with a problem. Getting close was too dangerous. Throwing was not enough. A bent branch snapped forward. A cord held. A shaft flew farther than expected. Someone tried again. Then someone else made it lighter, straighter, sharper, deadlier. Over generations, a hunting trick became a tool, and a tool became one of the most important technologies our species ever built. And now look at you. The bow seems ancient, almost simple, something you associate with myths, forests, or museum glass. But for the people who first made it work, it was nothing less than a revolution in the hand. A machine small enough to carry, quiet enough to hide, and powerful enough to let a fragile human body reach out across open space and change what happened there. Before the bow, distance belonged mostly to the animal. After the bow, some of it belonged to us. That is what our ancestors were really inventing. Not just a weapon, but control. Control over danger. Control over space. Control over the tiny slice of time between seeing food and losing it. The first person who drew a string back and watched an arrow disappear into the air probably did not know they were helping reshape human history. They were just trying not to starve. But from that moment on, the world was different, because a species that was never the fastest, never the strongest, and never the best armed by nature had found another way to win.